Hello YouTube, this is the Tempest Sage here once again, in Monster Hunter this time. I kind of had this idea in my head for a little bit to talk about Monster Hunter in some capacity. I mean, for like a couple of you that may have seen my introductory video, you saw me play Monster Hunter as background footage, and thankfully I got stuff to work now. Also, this is a different file from what I used. That was my male file that I was using. How do I get out of this file? Yeah, so this is actually my female file that I've used since Rise came out. I'm playing on Switch, by the way, since that was the version I primarily picked, because some of my other friends played on Switch and don't have like competent PCs. For those who are wondering, I'm just wearing a Laird set. Here's my Laird set, by the way. It's just the FlorBroMH chest piece because, I mean, this is a good-looking chest piece. Everyone in there, I think most people are wearing this. So yeah, that's what it is. So I wanted to talk about something close to me and kind of something close to my heart in terms of playing Monster Hunter, and that is the hammer, which was the first weapon I really mained, which was, my history is Monster Hunter extends all the way back to 3 Ultimate on the Wii U. I played a bit of online. I think I got to G rank in, or for those new modern players, Master rank in that game. I didn't get that far. I think I fought like Goldbeard Sedeus as like the highest tier thing I can remember fighting. I don't think I ever fought Dire Morales though. So I just want to kind of share my own general tips and stuff. I'm gonna probably apply this generally and not talk about specific things that are specific to Sunbreak until later on. So I'm just gonna give some general like nuances. The hammer, thankfully, has the advantage of being a very simple to pick up and play weapon. It's basically, you don't really have any special skill requirements for your armor. You don't have to worry about any complicated like subsystems or anything. You just have very basic controls like your X attacks or your Y attacks or triangle, whatever controller you're using. I don't know about how keyboard does the control on PC, but you got for your X button attacks the basic swing combo. In the older games, you only had this move, which was your side smash, and then since from I think World to now, you had these moves, the Big Bang moves. I believe these is your entire real like basic move set without talking about like charging or like combos. So if you just kind of use these moves, that's the basics of it. And the goal of hammer, it's one of the 2 traditionally impact weapons. I'm not talking about like I'm not talking about like specific moves from like charge or like file types from like charge blade and stuff, or like exhaust files, or like certain weapons having that one specific move that can do impact damage. So if I lower the head of the Toker right here, and lower please. Thank you. Impact or hammer and hunting horn both specialize in what's known as impact damage. So if you hit the monster's head, you'll see a different sound effect play, and these like sparks fly out of him. And after enough hits, he'll go into a stun animation. So for a couple of seconds, the monster will basically be downed for a few seconds, and that is very helpful, especially online. That's why I generally liked playing hammer, was that sort of satisfaction of getting more damage in for both myself and for other people. That's what kind of generally pushed me to playing hammer. It also was due to, I could probably link him in the description. I'll probably put him on screen right now in post. Channel that goes by the name of Omega Evolution. He does primarily like just gameplay stuff with like boss battles and stuff. I'm kind of not a fan of how he's done his content in like the newer like Monster Hunters, or at least like for like Rise. I kind of miss the dynamic of him and his friends, because that was like the best part, is, you know, getting with your friends in Monster Hunter and just shooting the shit while you're beating up cool monsters. And that was always what was fun to me. Okay, enough tangents. But, well, actually no, one small bit. Yeah, Omega was the one that kind of pushed me to playing hammer, since I watched him a lot, and I thought like, hey, that's pretty cool. I want to try that weapon out. And the rest is history. And I played hammer fairly frequently in like every game I've played. Except for you, I think for you I played a lot of like charge blade and insect blade. I played a little bit of greatsword, I think, to maybe switch axe, I think. And then I think in Generations Ultimate, I played a fair bit of hammer there. I played like what was it? I played Hammer. I played a lot of Valor Charge Blade, I think, in Gen Ultimate. And I played a fair bit of the... Was it Adept Heavy Bowgun? Or not Heavy Bowgun. Adept Light Bowgun, I think. Or was it Striker Light Bowgun? It was... Or was it just Guild Light Bowgun? It might have just been that. I don't remember. I don't think it was Valor. I think it was just playing... I played a lot of Light Bowgun on, like, my second playthrough, because I did a second file where I played as strictly a gunner for a fair bit of it. But, I also want to play as a girl, because I traditionally have played mostly as a guy, but I kind of wanted to just play as a girl because I felt like it. But they even have, from that, again, from that test video, I actually have a male file. I just don't use it that much right now, especially now that Sunbreak's a thing. Okay, enough tangents. Let's go back to just talking about Hammer. So, talk about the basic stuff. Now we want to talk about charging. Usually when it comes to Hammer, you're going to be doing this a lot. You know, press down the right trigger to go through the charge levels. I remember when I was playing World briefly, World is kind of weird because of how not apparent the charge levels are to you because of the glow. It's kind of way too subtle in my opinion. But thankfully here it's very apparent because you got 1, 2, 3, which is very nice. This does work with the armor skill focus, but in my opinion I don't like focus on Hammer because you generally want to pick your charge levels, usually in my opinion. So level 1 is just this. You can actually just tap the shoulder button and do it from a standstill without having to wait for the glow, which is kind of nice. Then you got the level 2. That's not level 2. 1, 2. You got this, which is your charged upswing. You can actually do this while moving, and that's pretty good, especially for sniping like the head of a monster like Rathalos or anything that has a fairly low to the ground head. You can snipe like that, snipe like that. Pardon my fumbling with words. Because you can be like over here and do that, and you'll move a bit forward, which is quite nice. And then finally we get the level 3 charge, which has 2 different moves. When you're standstill, you do this, which is called the Charge Big Bang here. I think in World as well. But when you're moving, you do this move, which I think is called the Spinning Bludgeon, I think? Yeah. Personally, I'm not a big fan of this. By the way, the way this works is when you're in this animation, you will swing, I think, 5 times, but if you don't input anything, you'll see I did that sort of fumble animation where I had to go back and pick up my hammer. That's fairly long. So usually you want to press the X button. That is the wrong move again. You generally want to press the X button after a couple of swings, so like that, you'll do this golf swing move. Yeah, I'm old school and I don't call it like the upswing, I just call it the golf swing because that's what I'm used to. But yeah, then I'll go over Sunbreak and like modern stuff in a moment. I'm just gonna talk about some more basic stuff. Actually, I think that might be everything. Oh yeah, also I didn't mention here, you can actually move while charging, which is very nice. It really helps with the debris mobility. I feel like the way Hammer, in my opinion, is a good beginner weapon because it's easy to just understand, you know, you hit the monster's head. That's applicable to like all weapons because usually the head of a monster is a pretty like good weak spot to hit for the most damage. But like impact weapons like Hammer, like Hunting Horn, excel at being at the head because of stuff like KO and exhaust damage. So yeah. But yeah, generally you want to be able to freely like move around the monster and be like, okay, I want to do this because he's kind of standing still. Or like, hey, since he's moving around a bit, I want to use the upswing. Or I just kind of want to get a good hit in. And also you can roll out of a charge, but it does reset you, as you can see here. Oh yeah, and also the charge does take out your stamina, as you do see up there at one of my HP. That generally can be a problem sometimes, but not too much. You could run some stamina management if you feel so inclined. Because yeah, like I said, when it comes to armor, there's no like hammer specific skills. The only one that's kind of a nice thing if you want to run it is Slugger. Generally it's kind of like, I can deal with it, I can do without it, but I don't mind getting it as like a byproduct. Usually you want to run, you know, your attack boost, your weakness exploit, especially that since, you know, the head is generally a weak spot for a fair number of monsters, so you might as well just get it, because pretty much the way I play Hammer is like, how can I exploit my abilities to KO the monster and just whack it on the head as much as I want. That's pretty much how it is. I think Gaijin Hunter, in one of his old videos, one of his old weapon tutorials, made a comment that basically when you're playing Hammer, you don't see a body. You just see the monster's head running, wiggling around. Which is basically, it's kind of just tunnel vision, the weapon basically, but that kind of tunnel vision can help you achieve your weapon's sort of like goal in the game. Which is, you know, going for the head, going for those exhausts, going for those KOs, and that's generally how I play it myself. Is mainly is like the goal is my head. Goal hit the head. How do I do that? It's basically my own take on it. Okay, okay, that's enough of talking about just general playstyle. Now I'm going to talk about, and also I guess the armor skills too. But now I'm going to talk about the stuff specific to the more modern games. And I think the best one to go over first off is slopes. When you hold down the charge button and you're going on a slope, you'll go into this animation while you're charging, and you'll do the mid-air spinning bludgeon when you release. This is a pretty decent move. I think it's better in World, honestly, because there's a lot more opportunities for it in World. Plus, like, the wire bug in Rise does open up to it, because there is a version of this move. And I think you can charge and then go into it, like so? Yeah, and yeah, the slopine spinning bludgeon, which is basically a grounded version you can do from a neutral ground position, but you're just tossing a wire bug, which is kind of useful. Let me check. Can I just...
Here it comes!
Okay, no. Unless I'm able to... Let me give myself infinite wire bugs. Just for testing purposes. Let me see if I... Okay, so if you do hold the if you hold the charge button while executing it, like you press the ZL and X and then pull down R, you will start doing the charge animation. I actually did not know that. I actually did that out of curiosity. That kind of shows how little I actually use this move. Because really the thing is the other silk bind, which I'll talk about in a minute. But let me actually talk about another mechanic that was briefly, well, it was technically in World, but was really put to the forefront in Rise, which was the different charge styles. So you'll see next to my sharpness meter, there's that little yellow hammer icon. That indicates which charge style I'm in. I forget which the specific names for both of them are. Well, it actually shows on the left there, ZR plus A is charge switch strength. Yeah, so I'm in the strength style, I believe is what this is called. But so you'll see here that that my moves are different now. So when I do my base, and also my charge colors are different. So now I'm level 1 is purple. Then it's a light blue, and then a very bright white blue. So level 1 is this. It's a bit of a slightly different animation. Level 2 is a different upswing, like slightly different in terms of animation. I think the blue charges are a bit stronger. But also, if you do this while moving, you'll see I think it's a bit more distance. But then probably my favorite thing is the level 3s. I think this is definitely the one where I like both level 3s of this. Because when you're moving, you do this very big gap closer, because you do go a fair bit of distance with this. Combined with the fact that, you know, you're already moving around with this. You get a very good, like, forward momentum with it, and pretty nice. And then while you're at a standstill, you do the final Big Bang combo move, or something equivalent to it, which is really nice. So that's cool. And this is actually a very good transition into the very other big slope line. I'm just kind of talking about the ones I have by default. Is this when you charge switch? When you're holding the charge button and you hit charge switch while you're in the middle of it, because yeah, if you do this, you'll see when I change back, I'm automatically in a level 3 charge, which is very useful. If you're like anticipating like a flinch, or you're trying to close the gap and get a big hit in, it's really useful. It's especially useful for probably the kind of unfortunate like pigeonholed silkbind move that is in Rise. It does just really good damage, and that is the A button default silkbind, which is back raider. I love this move, but it's kind of unfortunate that Hammer players are kind of pigeonholed. We're in base Rise pigeonholed and just playing this. I won't give my 2 cents on the new like Courage Hammer, I think is what it's called, that they added into Sunbreak as a switch skill, because I've not really had much experience with it. I know SDShepard has, but yeah, let me like briefly mention the switch skills. You got Side Smash versus Water Strike. Water Strike is basically just a parry move, which is kind of interesting. And you see that move there. I think there's a decent bit of iframes to it. I think you need to. Can you do it from a? Okay, no. I think when you hit A again, you can start doing a big bang like that. Yeah. Also, by the way, another thing mentioned about the big bang I did not mention. If you don't hit anything with it, you kind of are just stuck in this very long wind up, or like basically like return to neutral position. Oh, can you roll out of it? I believe you can. Yeah, you can, I guess. So usually if you whiff, you kind of want to roll out. But yeah, I don't really care for Butter Strike too much. It's kind of a slightly different playstyle I'm not too big a fan of. But yeah, Courarge Hammer, I have not tried it at all, so I'm not going to comment on if it's good or not. It's a very different style. Then we have a Spinning Bludgeon versus... Oh, I think this is the one that's... If you're familiar with Generations Ultimate, this style is very akin to how Hammer's charge mechanic works when you're in Valor mode, in Valor style, in Generations Ultimate. And I kind of mess with it a little bit, but not enough to like really say my opinion on it, so I'm not going to say anything. Then we get the Silkbind Spinning Bludgeon versus, I think, Dash Breaker and Keeping Sway. I've not tested Keeping Sway at all. What does this even do? Oh, that's interesting, based off of the text. I might most of that on my own time, maybe do a follow-up talking about, like, Sunbreak Hammer. I know there's a small YouTube channel I found. I'll probably mention it on text right now, what it was. What the name of the channel was, and link in the description. And he kind of talked about stuff for Hammer and Sunbreak. I'm kind of just doing this very free flow. I don't even have a, I don't have a script for this at all. I'm just kind of going with the flow, really. Alright, then we have, finally, Impact Crater versus Impact Burst. The nice thing about Impact Burst is it is only one bug instead of two. I'm pretty sure this is the one that gives you the buff to your hammer charges, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's this move. I think this was in the demo, I think. I don't remember how long this lasts, but basically every time I think you just do a hit. Or is it a charge? Yeah, you see I'm getting 2 damage ticks there. But yeah, you see... You see like 4 damage ticks happen there instead of just the usual 2. So then if you do this... Yeah, that's 6 hits instead of just like 3. So there's just a little bit of extra tick damage, which is kind of nice. I think those proc off element, and I think that combined with like the Courarge Hammer style actually lets Element Hammer be viable, which is actually really interesting to me. And I may mess with that in the future, but I've been messing with a lot of other weapons. I feel like Hammer is just a very reliable option I usually do. I don't play with it too much later on. I usually kind of play other stuff, but I always like going back to Hammer every so often. But yeah, this is a very rambly video. I mean, I've been recording this for like 18 minutes now. I may cut this down in editing, but I hope you at least found something interesting in me just rambling about a weapon I've played for, God, like at least 9 years. No, like 10 years actually, because I think 3U came, I think I bought 3U in 2012. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I bought 3U back in 2012. And I remember playing online with like a friend of mine through Skype, I want to say, or like through Google Hangouts or something like that. Man, those are the days. Hey again, it's me. This is me in post after recording like the 18 plus minutes. This is actually the day after I recorded that video. And I just wanted to make a much cleaner outro because admittedly I kind of rambled towards the end. I hope amidst some of the errors I made, admittedly, looking back on it now, in the various things. I did make some edits in text, as you saw. I hope you at least got something of value out of this video. Take care, leave a like, comment, subscribe if you feel so inclined, hit the notification bell, all the typical YouTube stuff to appease the algorithm, and hopefully I can actually do more stuff on here. I don't have anything else planned right now. I don't know when I'm going to release this. Probably sometime in between my uploads of that Plants vs. Zombies playthrough I'm currently uploading right now. So, take care, have a good one, and dude, you really have to walk by me? I'm just sitting here? Alright. Okay, but yeah, take care, and have a good one. Peace.